Okay, so welcome to everybody that's joined so far. So we'll be starting in just a moment, and I'll hand over to Laura for today's webinar, Baby Got Backlinks. So just a couple of things to mention before we get started. You'll see all the different features that we've got in this webinar chat. So we've got the chat function, so anything that you want to say as we're going along, if you want to introduce yourselves. Quite often people like to share sort of like LinkedIn profiles and things to connect with other people and have a chat through afterwards, so feel free to do anything like that in there. We've also got question and answer section, so as we're going along, if you've got any questions that you'd like us to go through at the end, pop them in here and we'll be doing a short 5 minutes on those towards the end of the presentation. There's also a poll that we've popped in today, so this is about link targets and whether you've been asked to work to link targets before, so we'd appreciate if you could just open that up and answer that as well. It's just a quick yes or no question. And yeah, we'll be getting started very shortly. So we'll be going through, Laura's going to be going through the webinar, and like I said, towards the end there's just a short section for question and answers, so please do ask us anything that pops to your mind. So I will hand over now to Laura and we'll get started.
Right, thank you, Polly. So just starting with a little bit about me. So I've been in the industry for over 10 years, started out in content marketing, then branched out and moved across into social media and influence marketing before realizing I could do all of the things that I loved about each of those channels within PR. So that's where I am now and have been for the last 5 years. So heading up the PR department at Flaunt Digital. Over that last decade, I've had the opportunity to work with brands across a wide range of industries, so from kind of small startups to global brands. And in that time, the marketing industry has changed a lot, but the importance of backlinks and creating standout linkable campaigns hasn't. So across the next few slides, I'll be talking about why backlinks are so important and whether it's ever okay to buy links. Spoiler alert, it's not ever okay. So just a quick agenda of what I'm going to run through today. So we're going to start with what are backlinks, why are they important, then move on to backlink relevancy, how do I get more backlinks, and then how you can go about checking your backlinks. And like Polly mentioned, we're going to have time for some questions at the end. So first up, what are backlinks and why are they important? So essentially backlinks are links from one website to another. They can go by various names, so sometimes inbound links, incoming links, all the same thing. If someone links to your site, then you have a backlink from them. If you link to another website, then they have a backlink from you. Backlinks are really valuable for SEO. They represent a vote of confidence from one site to another, and earning relevant backlinks can have a positive effect on your ranking position and search visibility. As search engines like Google look at the backlink profile of a website to see which sites are linking to them. Are they authoritative sites that are linking to you? Are they relevant sites? Are the sites related? What's the connection to those two sites? Now, activity to try and earn backlinks and get more backlinks from other related websites is known as link building, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So why are backlinks important? Well, as kind of touched upon, backlinks to your website are a signal to search engines that others vouch for your content. Other people are linking to your content. They're happy to associate with your website from themselves. If multiple sites link to the same web page or website, then search engines can infer and have a good idea that that content is worth linking to. It's worth prioritizing and surfacing higher up in the search results because multiple people are linking to it, multiple authoritative sites are linking to it. So that's where the benefit comes from. Now, backlinks formed the foundation of Google's original PageRank algorithm, which was a long time ago, and a lot has changed since then. There's been a lot of algorithm updates, but backlinks still remain a key ranking signal, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So relevant backlinks, another reason why they're so important is they boost your credibility. Like we said, it's a confidence signal. So if you're on a website that you rate highly and you think is a really authoritative site, if you then see they are linking to another site, you're more likely to go and visit that site because they're associated with the website that you rate highly and you value. It's also increased brand exposure. So if you get the right backlinks for your audience, then you're increasing brand exposure amongst that target audience. All of these things come into play and just show just how important having the right backlinks are. So not all backlinks, however, are created equal. The different types of backlinks, and certain backlinks are more valuable than others. So for example, followed backlinks from really relevant, trustworthy, high authority sites have more SEO value than a backlink from a low authority, irrelevant, potentially spammy site. There's also the debate between kind of follow and no follow links. Could do a whole webinar just on that alone. But really basically, whether a link or not is followed. So a followed link, a site owner will instruct the search engine to pass on the link equity from that link is relevant, but there's still certainly value in no follow links. So don't discount no follow links essentially. Now, bearing all this in mind, a single quality backlink can be more powerful than hundreds and thousands of low quality spammy backlinks. So it's really worth thinking about where these backlinks are coming from, where you're trying to get backlinks from, and something that I'm going to cover in more detail when it comes to the quality of backlinks. So what makes a good backlink? These are the three main areas. There's others, but these are the three main ones. So we've got the relevancy of the backlink, the authority of the site, and the placement of the link. So starting with relevancy, Google places more value on relevant backlinks. So essentially the goal for Google is to return the most relevant content for the search query. They want to deliver the best results for people, so people will continue using Google as a search engine. They want to be the go-to search engine. So if they're returning relevant queries, relevant links, that's going to have people continuing to use Google and is the end game for Google. Authority, so backlinks from authoritative and trustworthy sites are more valuable. Every website has what we call a domain rating or domain authority. A few different names for them, depending which software you use. They have slightly different names and slightly different metrics, but essentially every website has a score out of 100, and that demonstrates how authoritative the site is. So someone like BBC News or Wikipedia would have a score in the 90s, and a brand new website might be 1 or 2. So again, when looking at backlinks, a backlink from a high authority site with a domain rating of 80, 90 is going to be more valuable than a link from a brand new site that hasn't got that same authority built up yet and might have a domain rating of, say, 1 or 2. And then the link placement sounds obvious, but prominently placed links are more likely to get clicked. So if you're gaining a link on a popular page or a page that receives a lot of traffic, lots of content on there, then the amount of referral traffic back to you is going to be higher. So again, where that link is placed comes into play when we think about how good a backlink is and how valuable a backlink is. Now, this is a quote from Google's John Mueller, which I think really highlights the relevancy point really well. So he said, I would think more about quality rather than quantity. Counting links is somewhat futile in any case. Like Polly mentioned, we've got a poll going on to see if anyone's been asked to work to link targets before. Personally, we don't work to link targets at Flaunt. As soon as you have linked targets or the number of links comes into play, it becomes all about the number, hitting a certain number of links. It doesn't become about where is that link? Is that link relevant for me and for the audience that I'm trying to reach? Is that link going to be valuable? Is that an authoritative site? Is that a site that is related to me and my topic? It only becomes about the number, and that's where it can move into kind of spammy link building territory, where all you care about is hitting that number of links that you're working to, rather than, are these going to drive traffic? Are these going to be relevant? So it's very much back to quality rather than quantity, and bearing in mind how powerful one really great backlink can be versus hundreds of low quality, spammy, irrelevant backlinks. The backlink relevancy is very much thinking about your audience. We've got some examples here. So the publications on the left, we've got Homes and Gardens, Country and Townhouse, House Beautiful, Ideal Home. These are all publications that we've got backlinks for our interior client. These are all really relevant for them. They're all publications that their audience would read, and somewhere where the link for the brand fitted really naturally. It was really relevant. All examples of really good backlinks for them. Then in the middle, we've got Heating and Plumbing Monthly, the World Plumbing Council, and Heating and Plumbing Installers. Very different publications to people like House Beautiful and Ideal Home, but they have very different audiences. So these examples were places that we've placed backlinks for our boiler manufacturer client. So again, very different audiences, but for the boiler manufacturer, these are really relevant. This is where their audience are going to get information. They're on their newsletter. These were all really relevant and authority publications in that industry. And then on the end, we've got Hello, Condé Nast Brides, and Perfect Wedding Magazine. And these were all publications that we've recently got backlinks for a jewellery client who's expanding and focusing on the bridal industry with engagement rings and wedding jewellery. Again, very different to Heating and Plumbing Monthly, very different audience, but for that client, they were all really relevant and really authoritative sites. So really think about the audience. Where are they going to be reading? Which publications are they going to be interacting with online? Also think about niches. So someone like Heating and Plumbing Monthly is nowhere near as well known to the mass public as someone like Hello or House Beautiful. However, for that audience, that niche is really well known. So don't discount more niche publications. They're still really authoritative. Just really think about your audience and make a list. What target publications or sites do you have for your audience that you think that's where they're going to be? These are the ones I want to go after. So how do I get more backlinks? Can't I just buy them? No. Buying backlinks is never going to be a good idea. Google is clever. Everyone in the SEO industry understands the power of backlinks, and they know that we know that. And in 2012, the link landscape changed forever with the Penguin algorithm. So this was an algorithm which was released to penalize websites for buying backlinks. Prior to that, there had been a lot of link purchasing, spammy link building activity from sites who were just focusing on getting links from anyone and everyone and didn't really understand the relevance and authority metrics. It was all about getting the most number of links to your site, which, like I said, resulted in a lot of spammy link building techniques, which Google wised up to and brought out the Penguin algorithm. A few of you might have heard about Flora in 2013, so the year after the algorithm was released. They actually got a manual penalty for buying links, which was so severe it resulted in them not even showing for their own brand name in Google. So that just shows just how severe the penalties can be, and it took them years and years of investing in SEO to get anywhere close to where they'd been prior to that really severe penalty. So the aim of the Penguin algorithm was to ensure authoritative, relevant, but also natural links were rewarded. And in 2016, Penguin became a part of the Google core algorithm. So this highlights it's not going anywhere. It's part of the core algorithm, and Google are only going to get more clever and wise to any techniques that aren't kind of natural link building. So we've all had the emails from various companies. Do you want to buy some links? We've got these great links. Don't be tempted. It is never worth it. It's never worth the risk of what can happen if you get penalized. And if you have been buying, if you have bought links in the past, there are steps you can do to rectify that and you know, submit them to Google to disavow. There's various steps. It's a long process, but essentially don't be tempted to buy backlinks. It's really not worth it. But what you can do to try and get some really relevant backlinks is create linkable on-site content. Sounds really simple, but if you want people to link to your website, you need something on your site worth linking to. So what might that look like? Just going to run through a few types of different linkable content examples. So could be blog posts. What have you got a niche topic on? What have you got experts that you can comment on? What can you add value in your industry on? Can you create a blog post about it? Quiz, it might be an interactive quiz that you can build and host on your site or on a landing page and drive people to the website and link back to take the quiz. Might be a piece of video content that's sitting on your site. Again, it could be a Q&A, it could be a webinar, something where you're adding value and having that content sitting on your site. Surveys, another great way of creating content and getting people to link to. Again, really nice interactive content example. It could be anything though. It could be a downloadable resource. It could be a white paper. It could be a checklist for something. There's endless content examples that you could use, but it's all about thinking, how can you provide added value and resources that journalists and publishers can only get by linking to your website. They're not going to get that information anywhere else. So it's not going to be in the press release that you've sent out. It's not going to be in any press materials that you might have outreached. It's something that is on your site with added value that people are going to want to link to. A few other techniques for building backlinks. So reaching out to other websites, editors or webmasters and asking them to link to your page. A few different ways you can do this. Guest blogging. So this is where you would offer to write a one-off post for another website. Broken link building, so finding relevant dead links on other sites and then reaching out and suggesting your working link as the replacement. Then we've got something called the skyscraper technique. So essentially this is where you find relevant content with lots of links, something relevant to your industry, and make it better, update it, add something new. And then ask those linking to the original to link to you instead with your updated, shiny, new version with more stuff in there, more value, more up to date. And then we've got unlinked mentions. So this is where you would find unlinked mentions of your brand and then ask the author to make the mention clickable. I would say all of these are worth a go. Some are more time intensive than others. But we've seen good results from all of these. And like I said, all definitely worth a go. And then we've got reactive PR and newsjacking. So reactive PR and newsjacking is all about jumping on trending topics. Anything that's sparked conversation in your industry. Can you be quick off the mark and the first to get a comment or quote on that topic, on that trend to a journalist? all about speed when it comes to being reactive. There's tools such as Haro, which is help a report out, which are great for this. So you sign up and select the categories you want to receive daily source requests for. So categories that are relevant to you and your industry. And then you'll get an email with journalist requests. And you can respond to any of these relevant requests, whether it's a case study that someone's looking for on a certain topic, it might be a quote or a comment, anything like that. You can then respond directly through Haro to the journalist. Twitter is another really great resource for newsjacking. So not only is it great for spotting kind of trends before they happen, keeping up to date with what's going on in the industry, it's also a place where journalists, again, put requests out. So following hashtags like #journo requests and #press requests, again, you can jump on those quickly. Journalists will use those hashtags to send out requests for information, for quotes, anything that they need for a story that they're working on. And if it's relevant to you and you've got something to say, you've got a relevant comment or quote that you can send across, and you can do that quickly, you've got more chance of being featured in that story and potentially gaining a backlink off the back of it. Like I said, Haro is a really good tool, and Twitter as well, for keeping on top of those journalist requests. So how do I check my backlinks? If you've never looked at your backlink profile before, a good place to start is Ahrefs. So they have a free version of the backlink checker. All you do is pop your website URL in the search bar and click check backlinks, and you'll get something like the screenshot on the bottom of the screen. So it'll tell you your domain rating. So that's what I mentioned earlier, your score out of 100. This example is BBC News. So they've got a domain rating of 93, which is up there with one of the highest. Just shows how authoritative and trustworthy the BBC is. And then it'll tell you the number of backlinks coming into your site and the percentage of those that are follow links. And then you've got referring domains, and again, the percentage, and it will show you the top 100 backlinks that are linking to your site, tell you things like the traffic that they're sending, the referring domains, and again, the domain rating of that link. So a really good place to start. There is a paid for version, which obviously gives you more insight and data, but the free version is a really good place to start and still gives you a really good amount of information and a good starting point. And then similarly, Moz have their link explorer. Looks very similar. You just pop your URL in there and click get free link data. And again, it will tell you the domain authority of that URL, the amount of linking domains, inbound links, which is another word for backlinks, and the ranking keywords. There is a limit on the amount of queries you can do on the free Moz version, but again, a really good place to start, and coupled with Ahrefs, definitely worth having a look at and exploring your own site or client sites and seeing the number of inbound links and backlinks, where those are, what sites they are, and looking for backlink opportunities as well. It's really good. So you could put a competitor URL in there and have a little research and a little dive into some competitor backlink analysis. So seeing what their domain authority is, what linking domains they've got, the number of backlinks that they've got, all worth looking at as a starting point. And then finally, digital PR doesn't have to mean boring backlinks. These are a few things that we've done for clients. This was a campaign called Netflix and Spill, where we did a very scientific experiment looking at the messiest snacks to eat in bed, and then we ranked all of those, did some nice photography, some really nice data visuals for this campaign that sat on the client website, and again provided a reason for people to link back to the full data, the full results from that experiment. It's a great way of creating linkable content if you're doing if you're doing a data piece where you've then got the full data set, the full data on your site, and perhaps outreach the highlights as a press release, and then you've got the full data on the site. And then this one was a really fun one. This was a bespoke coffee blend that we made for a client and outreached and sent out to press and publications with the press materials. And again, got some really nice backlinks from this. So my main point is think outside the box, try and be creative with your outreach campaigns, and just see where you can get those really relevant authority backlinks. Great, and then we'll just have a quick look at the poll. So 57% of you haven't worked with link targets and 43% have, so not a huge split. Really interesting, but I'm glad to see that the majority haven't been asked to work to link targets. It's what we like. Like I said, very much quality over quantity. That can be the main takeaway. Think about that one amazing backlink over getting hundreds of not relevant, not great backlinks.
So thanks for that, Laura. We've got quite a few questions actually, which I think we'll just about have time to get through. So first up, before starting to plan any campaigns, is it essential to start with a link profile audit and do any necessary cleanups?
Yes, I would always start with a link audit. It's a really good place to start just to see where you're sitting, and if there is any potentially not great backlinks that you might want to submit to Google, or if there's anything that it's also good for showing opportunities. You could see this particular link is driving a lot of referral traffic, or there's been multiple links from a publisher. You know that perhaps that's someone that you want to include in your campaign and in your outreach. So yes, I would always say do an audit, see where you sat, have a look at that backlink profile, and then take it from there.
Okay, nice, thank you. So next one is, what content forms have you found most success with?
Well, that's a good one. Recently, data campaigns have been doing really well. So surveys, things where we've been able to gather original data and then post that on a client's website or a campaign landing page that we're linking to. I think just having that added value, if it's something that you've created, so if it's a survey you've maybe sent to your email database, or you've asked some questions to your social following, another great way of getting data. But that's your original data then, so that's your point of difference, as opposed to someone else who might have a similar topic, a similar angle. If you've got something new, like data, or something new might be expert tips that no one's kind of covered off, that works really well. And again, you can have that sat on your site that isn't anywhere else.
Thank you. I think we've probably got time for one more, so I'll just pick one out. Do social media mentions count as backlinks?
Ooh, that is a good one. Doesn't count as a backlink, but there is a lot of research and a lot of reading around how social mentions, social engagements contribute to rankings in the same way that it's brand exposure. Google haven't come out and been nice enough to say exactly how much they take into account those social signals, but we do know it impacts rankings. So the more people talking about your brand on social, the more people engaging with your content and posts, it does have a positive impact. So yes, don't neglect social with your campaigns. If you can have really fun social content to complement your campaigns, definitely worth doing.
Fab. Thank you, Laura. So we're just past past, so we'll wrap it up there. But thank you very much for everybody that joined us. We'll be sending this out in a blog format and also the follow-up video as well. So we'll get that out to all of you in the next few days or so. If you've got any more questions or anything, please feel free to get in touch with us. You can add us all on LinkedIn and connect with us on there and ask any questions you've got. But any of the questions we've missed here as well today will just be popping in the blog post as well as a follow-up. So thank you very much, everybody who joined us.
Thank you.